A BBC team has uncovered further evidence of potential war crimes committed by Russian forces in Ukraine. Since Russian soldiers were pushed back from Kyiv at the end of March, the bodies of more than 1,000 civilians have been discovered in the Bucha region, just outside the capital. Local police chief has said that more than half of the dead were shot in what's been described as an execution. Our East Europe correspondent Sarah Rainsford has been investigating one case in particular. And a warning, her report contains distressing details.
This is a place where dark acts were committed. Civilians tortured and killed by Russian soldiers fighting a war in which they break all the rules, like they don't know them or even care. We were shown underground to where 5 men were held captive, then shot in the head. In the gloom, we saw the chilling evidence. The men's bodies were found kneeling here, beaten, their hands tied behind their backs.
It is cold, it's damp, and it is dark down here, where the 5 men must have spent the most terrifying moments of their lives. Now, we still don't have a full picture of exactly what happened, but from the evidence that we found underground here, it's clear they were executed.
We counted more than a dozen bullet holes.
The soldiers were based upstairs. Their headquarters were in a medical center. Here was a torture room. They were torturing and killing civilians.
It was all happening at a children's camp. Its name means radiant, a place of sunshine. But when the town of Bucha was occupied, Russian troops set up base here. Alyona shows me pictures of her brother in happy times. But Vladimir was one of the men found in that basement. His death has shattered her. When they last spoke, he told Alyona he loved her, but she heard a voice full of fear.
It's so hard. I hate them with every cell of my body. I know that's wrong to say about people, but they are not human. How could they torture those men? There wasn't a patch on their bodies that was not beaten.
When Russian troops retreated from Bucha, they left streets filled with death. Moscow claims all of this was staged. And yet, weeks on, the hard evidence is piled up here. The cars of civilians covered in bullet holes. Investigating it all is overwhelming and shocking, even for the police officer in charge.
More than half of the people killed in the Bucha region were shot, not killed by mines or shrapnel, or found under the ruins, but shot with guns. More than 650. That shows the Russians' cruelty, their crimes against humanity.
It feels like every house, every yard in Bucha was witness to that cruelty. Just opposite the children's camp, we heard of another man who was held prisoner there. Victor is in western Ukraine now, but he told me he'd been thrown in a cellar at the camp, his legs soaked in water so he'd freeze, and a gun held to his head.
They kept saying, "Where's the fascists? Where's the Nazis? Where's Zelensky?" They said, "You have until the morning to remember what you've seen, and if not, you'll be shot."
Victor escaped because there was shelling and his captors scattered. But Vladimir is now buried in a grave with no date for his death. His family don't know when he was shot. But this town does know that civilians are not only caught up in this war, they're being targeted. Sarah Rainsford, BBC News, Bucha.